Right, so you're welcome back to the show. We are up for our main conversation this afternoon here on the Pulse. It's a conversation around the National Health Insurance Scheme. Now, the National Health Insurance Authority is breaking new ground by absorbing the treatment costs of kidney disease and clearing out long-standing debt with service providers, a significant shift from the past. The authority is also facilitating arrangement for additional dialysis machine from hospitals, undertaking the free dialysis policy rollout, quashing doubts that the policy could be in jeopardy even before it starts. But what's driving this transformation? Where is the funding coming from to tackle these long-standing challenges? Joining us in the studio this afternoon is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Dacosta Aboagye. Dr. Aboagye, welcome.
Thank you.
And here was I thinking that you were going to be the Member of Parliament for my represented part of my hometown in the Kumawe area, and it didn't happen. But now you are in charge of ensuring that our health insurance is robust and then in a position to deliver on its mandate. How is it going so far?
Thank you. Let me extend greetings to your viewers and all Ghanaians.
Great.
I must say that it's going very well. It's a very tough job, but we are still on trying to innovate and bring it to light, the things that we're doing. And I think over the last few months since I took over, there's been new changes. And I think it's also stemming from the fact that this is what I studied.
Of course.
Yes, so it's like a doctor doing surgery. You know where to cut to make things work. But it's a collective destiny. I have a supportive staff, supportive board, and the presidency, the vice president office especially, is solidly behind me. So we dialogue often to look at how we can include in the Ministry of Finance. So I think it's a collective thing that we are all trying to make sure that we put it to shape. It's working very well.
So I'll welcome your questions and comments on this very conversation about the National Health Insurance Scheme. If you have any concern, please share with us via our social media handle. So last Friday, I listened to you at the Ghana Medical Association annual general meeting as whole in the Volta region. And in your presentation, you referenced the fact that the government inherited a 1.2 billion cedi debt for the National Health Insurance Authority.
Yeah.
And that amount was actually how much was allocated for the entire authority. Yeah. But you've managed to clear the entire debt. Yes. Is it a case that there's no more outstanding debt that needs to be cleared?
Okay, yeah, I think you are right. So in 2017, when we assumed office, there was a debt of about 1.2 billion, which was supposed to be the allocation for the National Health Insurance Authority.
Right.
So which means that a whole year's claims were not paid by the previous government. But thanks be to the Nanado and the Bawomia's government, these debts have actually been cleared. And more recently, we've made some significant payments. In the history of the authority, we have never paid such huge amounts. In fact, to the extent that on a go, we paid about 800 million.
800 million?
800 million.
To service providers? To
service providers. Just last month or just over a month ago, we paid over, and we even surprised them. As we speak now, when I looked on my portal when I was coming, I only have about 50 million to pay, but normally our claims are about 250 per month. So still, we're still not there yet.
Yeah.
So I'm even encouraging them and I'm begging them to bring the claims, and we have funds to pay. So there's no cause of alarm.
So 800 million Ghana
as a go, yes,
has been paid to service providers.
As a go.
Wow. Just
last month. Yeah.
So the 800, does it represent the entire claims presented by service providers?
No. You know, the Nanado Bawumia government actually committed to paying the claims. So, you know, if you look at the principles of how claims work,
right.
So we have a 90-day window for them to submit, then we reimburse. So that's the 3 months. So they were submitting on that basis. But this time we have even gone ahead to pay them advance.
Before they even submit?
So you see, some of them do submit early.
Right.
Because they have the 3 months window. So, like I said, we've paid in advance those whose claims came. So we've paid some up to October, September, because they are efficient because they know that we are paying, so they want their money quick. So we've paid up to date. Do you get the scenario?
Yes, I get it. But then also raises the issue of whether you are paying genuine claims, because you know in time past, the NHIA itself undertook what they describe as clinical auditing of claims that came to them. Some had presented fictitious claims and all that. So I'm guessing that if you are sometimes paying even in advance, do you satisfy yourself with the fact that you are paying genuine claims?
Okay, thank you. Again, you see, since we came in, you see, we've been digitizing the system. Right. So we've been using digital means. So we have what we call the Claim It. That's our application that we've been using to process the claims. So you submit the claims digitally and it's validated digitally through our data centers. Then it comes to what we call the pickup. The pickup is where the deputies will go in and look at what is there and validate before we do the final payment. So I think I must say that the digitalization within the NHIA is actually helping, and it's fast-tracking things. And it's also reducing fraud and all the things. Now, we're moving to the next level where we'll be using AI. And it's also the case that we'll be using what we call the biometric verification. But there's one key point that I want to, you see, we want to formalize the system.
Right.
And if you want to formalize the system, what do? What is the main identification, unique identification for Ghanaians? Ghana card. So we've decided that we are integrating with NIA.
Right.
So now, as we speak, those 15 years and above, they are integrating their NHIS card with the Ghana card.
Right.
And we had a budget that we were going to produce our own cards for children between the ages of 6 and 14. Now, what we've done is that we've seeded that money to NIA.
Because they want to cover that bracket.
No, because we want to, because it's in our interest to do it. So we have seeded that money to them. And so they are now producing the cards for 6 to 14 years. And because the 15 and above are integrating, then Ghana Health Service is also doing what we call number at birth. You see, because it's in our interest, because it will prevent fraud in a way, and it will be the same person claiming, because at the end of the day, you only have one Ghana card number.
Absolutely.
And you'll be able to verify it to the extent that, you see, in Europe, see, with the unique number, your medical records and everything, and it's linked to what we call our Lightwave, because now we have electronic records.
Okay.
You see, so it's a whole chain of things that we are doing, and it will all come together at the right time. But it's working very well to the best of my knowledge.
But I mean, educators and then workers too, you inherited debt.
Yes.
And now you say that the NHIS, in terms of its finances, is healthy.
Yes.
How are you able to do it?
So that's what I'm saying. It's just commitment, it's priorities. Now, the honest truth is that this government is pumping in more money to the NHIS. So at the moment, our budget is about 6.8 billion. So
on a yearly basis?
On a yearly basis. So it means that the insurance from 2016 has actually grown to about 6-fold.
Okay.
Because 1.2 is to 6.8 now. So from 2016 till now, we have had that 6-fold expansion of the scheme, which means that we have more money. Now, the fact is, once you have more money, then you also need to be meeting your obligations.
Absolutely.
And the government actually committed to making sure that we meet our obligations. In fact, in time past, the problem is not, budget can be given to you, but the monies may not be coming. But here we are, the government is actually giving us the money.
But there's the issue of capping.
Yeah, okay, so don't worry. I'll tell you something. You see, for me, even the 6.8, even if we are able to get it, okay, because normally you don't even get all because it's projected. So, and this is where I'll be diving into the dialysis.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you why both the MPP and the NDC has actually uncapped by their manifestos. You see, if you look at, so 6 months ago, let me get to the dialysis. 6 months ago, we started a pilot project of the dialysis. And we said that those 18 years and below will be given 8 cycles for free. 60 years and above will be given 8 cycles for free. That's the standard treatment. Then between 19 to 59, we are subsidizing for them at 2 sessions.
Right. So you do 2, and then the NHIA also take up the 2?
No, the NHIS will do 2. Then the patients themselves will take the 6.
Right.
Because it's 8
8 sections.
But what we have realized is that the data that was submitted to us, they gave us 600
people on dialysis.
On dialysis. The actual numbers reflect about 395, almost 400. Let's put it at 400. The actual numbers of people who are claiming under the pilot reflects only 400.
So they gave you more numbers.
They gave us more numbers.
But the actual number was below the number they gave you.
Yes. To the extent that the monies we gave them, we even asked them that they should admit more patients on. And we also said that in June, those patients who paid, their money should be refunded to them.
Right.
The actual numbers is actually around 400. Okay. Now let's look at something. If you use the prevalence rate calculation, okay, in obviously the prevalence rate, we are saying that in Ghana here, in a million population, about 24 patients do have end-stage kidney disease.
24 out of a million Ghanaians.
24 out of a million Ghanaians. So if you do the mathematics with the 30 or above population, you will get about 1,250
people.
1,250 people.
Established or
No. That's the prevalence.
Okay.
The prevalence is 24 patients per million population. So it's a simple calculation.
Absolutely.
If 24 is to 1 million, then 30 million will be what? It gives you 1,250 patients.
All right.
So it is estimated that the number of patients with end-stage renal disease is 1,250. And you can cross-check this. You can do your fact check.
Of course.
Yes. So the 250. Now, what we did was, let's look at the actual 400 for our pilot, okay? So we had 3 scenarios. The first scenario is that, okay, you do have the 400 people. Now, we can only go by the fees that has been approved by Parliament, which is around 490 or 495, okay? So if you multiply the 400 by the 490 by the 8 cycles, okay, you get about 1.5 million.
About 8?
Per month, because the 8 cycles is per month, okay? So you get about 1.5 million. So 400 by the 490 by 800. That I'm showing the modeling. You get 1.5 million per month.
Right.
Okay? Then you multiply it by 12 months. You multiply the 1.5 by 12 months, you get 18 million. So let's do a round figure like 20 million. Okay? That's the actual. Now, the second scenario is when you double the figure. Okay, because if you open it up, it could be that you have double of the numbers. Okay? So if you put it as, let's say, 800. Okay? Just multiply the 800 by 490 by 8. Okay, you get about 3.2 million. Okay, 800 by 490 by 8, you get 3.2 million.
3.2 million.
Per month.
Per month.
Multiply it by 12. So you get about 39.5. So run that up to about 40 million.
Per month.
Per month. That's for the second phase. The second, when you double it.
And this is for the 1,200 individuals?
No, that's for the 800.
800.
So wait, I'm coming to the 1,002. So now let's go to the 1,002, which is the test scenario, because we use modeling. So the test scenario is about 1,200 multiplied by 490 by 8, okay, you get somewhere 4.8 or 4.7 million per month. Then you multiply that by 12, you get about 56.4, so about 57 million. Okay, so the range now, and that reflects our prevalence rate. The test scenario reflects our prevalence rate. So now, this country, per month, per year, ranges between our actual, which is the 400, which is 20 million to 57 million. But not all patients on end-stage renal disease or renal disease do the dialysis.
All right, I'll come in here and then, so Dr. Dacosta Aboagye is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority and is walking us through the numbers. I mean, the conversation in town is about kidney. Government position is that from December 1, dialysis for persons who are on it will be free. That's government position on this matter, will be free. So for those who are struggling to raise the needed finance or the needed money to undergo dialysis because of the condition they find themselves in, that will no longer be your headache. It will be the responsibility of government to do it. And that is what he's explaining to us with the numbers, from the analysis that they've undertaken. They are looking at the prevalence of 1,200. And he is justifying why it is feasible that this can be done. And so if you have a question for us, you can join us with your question via our social media handles. We are live on X Spaces, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and of course we are live on myjoyonline.com. So doctor, 57 million.
Yes.
That is what, according
20 million to 57 million. That's from our actual to our prevalence.
All right.
So now, not all these 1,002 will need dialysis. So you now go with a second scenario.
But you said that all these 1,002 are at the end stage.
No. So that's what I'm trying to explain. It's not everybody who have the kidney disease or the end stage kidney do need dialysis. Do you get what I mean? So what I'm just trying to say is that even though the prevalence is 1,002, not all of them will need the dialysis.
Right.
Okay. So you now go with the middle figure, which is the 800.
All right.
So when you go with the 800, which seems to be the average, it will be 40 million.
For a month?
No, per year.
Per year.
Per year. Now let's look at how we're going to fund this. So 40 million. So the range is between 20 to 57, but we've settled on 40 million because not all of them will need the dialysis, okay? Now,
the funding.
The funding. So our budget is 6.8 billion, okay? We have been capped, like 20%, okay? So just work 20% of the 6.8 billion is what? About 1.3 billion.
Right.
So what is 40 million to 1.3 billion? It's insignificant.
But that is not your only responsibility.
No. But
in terms of having a holistic...
Wait. You see, bear in mind, we've costed all our responsibilities now. We are only adding up.
Okay.
So we're looking for where do we get the money? So because we've already captured those, what we've already costed in the budget. So there's no problem about that, okay? And that falls within the 6.8 billion. And bear in mind that claims payment is only 3.7 billion. In a year. Okay, but I'm just showing you whether we can reduce our corporate social responsibility to fund it, whether we can do some magic from our budget to fund it. I'm showing you why we can do it and it will not collapse the scheme, and in such a way that obviously Ghanaians or those suffering from it will also benefit. At the end of the day, our target is to help the vulnerable.
Absolutely.
So it's just making sure that we look within to see what we can do. So let's go over that again. I said 6.8 billion. We are capped at what? 20%.
20%.
So if you work that out, 20 out of 6.8 billion,
1.3 billion.
1.3 billion. So the 1.3 billion, if the MPP, NDC, by their manifestos have actually uncapped at 100%, then it means that
You also have access to the 1.3 billion.
So it means 1.3 billion is coming in.
To add up to the already 6.3.
To add up to the already 6.3 billion. But bear in mind that even this figure will go up because depending on the tax performance.
Absolutely.
So this figure will go up, but I'm just using the current situation to explain to you. So regardless, we have about 1.3 billion which we can tap in. And if you consider 40 million out of the 1.3 billion, it is. So I'm happy that they are capping us at, obviously, they are not capping us again. We are now doing 100% by their manifestos. So what this means is that we shouldn't have any problem.
But has this figure factored into the fact that you're also considering new tariff?
Of course, yes. So again, this is where, you see, let me make it clear that anytime that we go to Parliament, okay, we do 30% increase to factor in the tariff because we have an annual tariff review. So that has already been captured in the 3.7 billion. So there's no problem about that.
Okay.
There's no problem. Now, you've mentioned the tariffs. I know people are also concerned about the tariffs.
Exactly.
But I believe that, you see, anytime that we do tariff review, that the pharma companies they increase their prices. So I believe that there must be system reforms in such a way that they will have no option than to comply, not to reduce. So I've met all the stakeholders. Now we want Parliament to have a say in that.
But I'm just getting a comment from the pharmacy guys. They are even asking for medicine list. Perhaps we'll come to that as we go on.
Yes. So we are saying that we are sending our ally to Parliament. We've captured in because we want to make it punitive to obviously those who flout the law. Because at the end of the day, all this co-payment that we see from there. First, they were accusing government of delays in payment. Today, government is begging facilities to submit payments. But when you go to some of the facilities, they are charging.
And
so I believe that it is a system problem, and we are using the system to solve it. And I'll explain how we are solving that as well. Okay? So the tariffs, I mean, currently, I think we are at the end stage of it for the tariff review because the partners are also involved. So I think the consultant was from World Bank. World Bank supported us in procuring a consultant. So we are at the end stage of it. The tariffs will be ready very soon. But it has already been captured in the budget, so there shouldn't be any problem.
All right.
But
so you're only waiting for Parliament to...
Yes, I believe that that's not the normal process. And it is not the normal process because... because that's not the normal process. Anytime you do it, then the pharma companies and they just go ahead and just increase the prices. And I believe that system is wrong. So when we went to Parliament, we told them that we will bring the tariff after we finish the review. We will bring it to them so that they know that this is what we are actually giving. Then if there should be... the good news is we are submitting our legislation, which will make it punitive for such things to happen. So I think we are going through, everything is on call. They should bear with us because at the moment, like I said, we are paying. So we are a good payer. So we become credible. So many people want to join us. No problem about that. But they should bear with us as we go through the process in such a way that we tighten the loose ends. But there is the next leg to it is that, you see, we have also... we've initiated the e-pharmacy project, you see. So the e-pharmacy was started by the Pharmacy Council and the Vice President Office. But we from NHIA believe that if we put our medications there, or if we allow all the hospital and community pharmacies to be on there with the accredited medicines list, then when doctors prescribe medications for our patients, our patients can just go to the platform and just locate it and go and collect it at where they are. Or to the extent that the pharmacists can be mandated, obviously, to deliver the medicines to the patient's home. That will cure co-payments.
Absolutely, we'll do that. But a few issues, we'll take a short break and come back. There are concerns that are coming up. Some doctors are of the view that you may want to absorb the cost of dialysis treatment, but do we have facilities to admit people and then administer that to them as well? And then why November 2024 and why this year that this thing is taking place? We'll have a response for that after this short break right here on the pulse. Right, so we are back, and of course we'll continue this conversation on the National Health Insurance Scheme. We are on kidney and government, bold attempt to absorb the financial cost beginning December 1, 2024. So, Doctor, this I mean, some doctors, I heard a doctor from Kofanochi Teaching Hospital yesterday say that you are opening the floodgates. Do we have the facilities available to attend to those who may need the services from these hospitals? I mean, the last time this matter became topical, the reason the center at Kolebu, for example, was shut because we got to understand that the private individual was the one who had the machines there, and that was what the hospital was using to attend to those in need of dialysis treatment. Do we have the facilities to attend to the numbers that will be coming now that the floodgate is open?
Okay, thank you, Elton. So, couple of, let me say that this has been thought through carefully, and it started long ago. See, because, you know, if you check carefully, last year, it was very topical.
Absolutely.
In news. So the ministry, the NHIA, and the Vice President office started the engagement. And I can tell you that there was a committee that the Vice President chaired himself because, you see, he really wanted this to be solved. So the package is that dialysis machines will be provided to some centers, okay? And if you look at the new nephrology units that has actually been built
at
Kolebu, it has a unit where it's been equipped with dialysis machines, okay? I received a letter from Konfanoche when we started the pilot that they also needed machines. I also received a letter from Efiakwanta. I received one from Police Hospital, and I received one from 37 Military Hospital. So when I received the letter, the first point was, so what do we do? Now, we do also have partner support funding. So I engaged World Bank under our performance for results, that's P4R. And World Bank indicated that, yes, they are prepared to support us. And as we speak, I mean, the letter is with PPA to procure more dialysis machines for those facilities who apply to us, to the extent that other Tamale and the others will also get some.
Right.
But the government's agenda is that within the Agenda 111, there will be centers and
dedicated for
dialysis, so that patients will not have to travel to long distance, go and sleep in Kumasi or Accra before they are able to undergo such a service. So I think the plan is clear. It's really clear. And like I said, I gave you a scenario of 400 being the actual, which we are now absorbing. And this one is open to both private and government facilities. The private ones, the private facilities that we credential, because we do the credentials for them, and we regulate them anyway, so there shouldn't be any problem. And because Parliament has already set the tariffs, all we have to do is the administrative tariffs, then we are good to go.
So for the private,
Wait, I wanted to make a point.
Please go on.
Bear in mind that, you see, what Ghanaians have not really obviously been educated on is the fact that we already fund acute kidney disease. So now we are funding it through to the dialysis point. But there's another point, which is the transplant, but we'll come there. So
So I was asking about if you are involving private hospitals to also offer these services, would you pay them the same as you would pay the public hospitals in terms of their location? Because yesterday I heard Dr. Nsiansari make the point that there may be co-payments. I don't know whether I got him right. In terms of if the private hospital is charging more and the patient wants to access the services of the private hospital.
Okay, you see, so I don't know what Dr. Nsiansari said, but I have the data, okay? And like I said, the private facilities, actually, we work with them. Sometimes they go by our tariffs and the agreement that we come together. Like I said, Parliament has approved a figure for us, okay? Parliament has actually approved a figure.
Under the fees and charges.
Under the fees and charges. So that will be our guide. If we have to develop new tariffs, yes, it's true we may have to develop new tariffs, but that will be the administrative cost, like the consultation, which is normal. But we are continuing the pilot to full implementation.
Right.
I've given you the source of money, where the money is going to come from. And I've also told you that we already credential the private facilities. So if that is where our patients will get the machines to do, there shouldn't be any problem. And they are also Ghanaians, and we should be able to open to them to also be And at the end of the day, they also claim from us. So for me, I don't think there is any problem. As long as they are going by the rules or the regulations that we set for them, yes, they can enjoy it as we've prescribed.
How do you respond to those who want to read political meanings and trying to say that the timing may play an advantage here?
Okay, so you see, for me, I mean, you may know me.
Of course.
Ask your colleagues here. I don't do politics with my work. So immediately I came in, like I told you, one of the things that I told the board that we need to achieve was dialysis. And I walked straight to the vice president's office. I did not even wait. And it was about immediately the board approved it. It was the next day that I made that announcement that no, we're going to do dialysis. And I had consulted with the vice president. You see, so there is no political intention for this. And when we even started, you remember we started it for 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay. And we are now using the data to inform what we have to do. So I can assure, and when you come to the NHIS, I can tell you that I have told my staff that let's depoliticize the place. It is a professional institution. It's not a political institution. Yes, I was brought in by politics, but at the end of the day, I'm a professional as well. I have all the necessary qualifications. That is my specialty. So I don't do politics with these things. And I've given you, that's why I've taken my time to give you all the numbers. Okay, see, I work with my colleagues outside as well. See, this modeling that we do, I worked with my colleagues outside, including the Vice President's research team. You see, so there is nothing like politics in this. I'm being honest. The 6 months is coming to an end. It's a well thought through plan. If we started in June, when will it come to an end? Is it not? Do we leave them just like that? No. So there is no politics in this. And again, those on dialysis, there's nothing like NDC patients and MPP patients. So let's desist from that. I'm pleading. Yeah.
So December 1, everything.
Yes. I'll write all the facilities. Yes, that they have to implement it because the NHIS, that's our credential facilities, that our NHIS will absorb it. And we will, like I said, the procurement of it, the dialysis machines, to support the system is also with PPA. And I know that they will have their last meeting, and I think it will be ready for us to start there. We are doing this with World Bank, so it's also... And
today is the 13th of November. When are you writing that letter? So that on December 1, they will go and then they will not be told that we are here to receive the communication from the NHIA for this.
Tell you something. You see, as we speak, the facilities are even owing NHIA. Do you know why? So the way we implemented this is that we gave them a global budget to spend.
Okay.
Then our quality department goes for verification. And that is how come we were able to get the actual numbers. And some of the facilities, the monies we gave them are still there. They've not been able to spend even half of it. So we've been very technical about this. And we've used a financial or an insurance model that normally you claim it after you have benefited from the service.
Absolutely.
But we gave them global budget, which is also another form of financing. You see, so what I'm just assuring Ghanaians is that there's no cause of alarm because we've thought through carefully from a technical point of view.
Doc, so clearly from the picture you are painting for us, looks like all is very well with the NHIA. Very, very well. And are you considering adding more ailments to the ones you already have now that finances appears not to be a challenge anymore for the authority?
You see, I wouldn't say finances is not a challenge. You see, at the moment, what I see, like I was describing, the money you paid the NHIL, okay? Then GRA will validate it. It will go to the consolidated account. Then the Ministry of Finance will issue a warrant. Then the controller will have to now pay the money. So it's the releases that is the problem. It's not the actual collections. So now what is the reform that I've proposed to government? The reform to government is that once GRA collects the money, let it go through the NHIL account. Why should we have these bureaucratic processes? Because the money is meant for the insurance.
It should just go straight.
It should go straight. So that we know the pot of money we have. The SNIT one has been coming directly. Now, once you are able to do that, okay, you will get your full money. And this is where, so if you look at the MPP manifesto, MPP is coming up with a flat tax system. The levies will go to a separate account. So it can directly come to us rather than going to the consolidated account. You see, so once we have the money, then there shouldn't be any problem. And let me tell you something. Over the last years, like last few years, we have added more complex diseases than any other government in the Fourth Republic. Mental health, sickle cell, breast cancer, Herceptin, very expensive medication, hydroxyurea, sickle cell. You see, so, and all these are being absorbed. I can assure you that the NHIA is at its best in our 20-year history.
Because you touch on the additional services added, this question just came in. It says, are there plans to expand the NHIS coverage to include more services? I guess that's...
To get what?
To include more services. And I'm guessing
that's what I'm saying.
You have already answered
the
that
assessment
question.
And see, if we have to, you see, the thing is, we cannot, let me be honest with you. So, for example, some of the diseases are benefiting from vertical funding. You see, so, and again, this is where I'll touch on, I'll delve into a little bit of politics.
Right.
Because I've assessed the manifestos of both parties. You see, now if you look at the NDC says that they are coming to do what we call the Mahama Care. Okay? That funding, from what I see, seems to be a vertical funding. And any funding that competes with the national funding risks the collapse of the NHIA.
Why do you say so?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, your main funding source is where? Your main funding source is the NHIA, through the NHIL. So what is the funding for the Mahama Care? Why are you separating it? And already these diseases that you are saying, we cover them. So what we need is actually the system strengthening, not a separate fund that will collapse the scheme. See, any attempts to segregate the scheme will be dangerous because our insurance is one of the best in the world and we should protect it at all costs.
You don't think that additional funding rather make funding more accessible?
Additional funding from where? And why is it being channeled through Mahama Care rather than the NHIA? Again, it says that it's going to fund primary health care. See, we fund primary health care through the CHIPS, through the polyclinics, through the secondary, through the tertiary facilities. So what is this? So for me, let them rethink again. And I'm prepared to debate them on this because at the end of the day, you see, we need to protect the National Health Insurance Scheme than someone saying that we're going to do a separate fund to collapse it. And again, we don't even know the source of that funding. Where is that source coming from?
So a few questions here. How do I report issues or complaints about the scheme services?
So
somebody's asking me,
okay,
how do I report issues or complaints about the scheme services?
Okay, so we have a call center and we also have live online chats and we have our emails and we have various forms of feedback mechanism that can be.
But do you get a lot of complaints from subscribers?
Of course, yeah. So we've enhanced our monitoring processes. But I think one of the things that we are thinking about is also the case that can we obviously have stands within the various hospitals in such a way that we're able to address complaints promptly. And let me tell you something. We've introduced something, the annual health check, linked with the e-health as well. So we're still thinking through, but I'm just suggesting that could also help to address some of the patients' concerns. Now, one of the things that I would say is that with this e-health that we have also introduced, it will decongest facilities.
Because you don't need to physically be present at the hospital.
You need to be physically present at the hospital. So what will happen is that you can do your consultation or your follow-ups in the virtually, so that the doctors will prescribe your medication for you and send it to you even via your phone. Then through the e-pharmacy platform, your medication can just be delivered to you by courier. So I think when I was delivering my speech yesterday at the launch of the e-health, I said, Abrochira Bagana. You see, these are the things that when I was living in the UK, we were doing. At the comfort of your home, you are able to see a doctor. It's not everybody that should just troop to the hospital. So look at the travel time. So our development, and I have said it over and over, our development anchors on digitalization. And everywhere I go, and I must assure Ghanaians that digitalization. Right from the airport to your home, everything is digitalized. So we must embrace it.
The other issue is someone is asking, now that you appears to have a control over the finances of the scheme, are there challenges that you have identified that requires attention to make it even more efficient?
I think the challenge is the co-payments, which I'm saying that we will use the system approach to solve it, because I believe that's what I've explained. You see, so for example, if I come to you, a doctor, if I come to you and you prescribe medication for me, and the medication can be on the e-pharmacy platform, you can download the e-pharmacy app. So all you have to do is just find out where are these medications located and just go for it. So you don't have to go to the pharmacy for them to tell you adronebiniho. You just go there and you use it and you just pick it up. You see, that's one of the ways. And another way is also that obviously the pharmacist will be mandated that if the patient is struggling, the medication is delivered to the patient's home from the e-pharmacy, because we have over 500 medications on the e-pharmacy platform. But we will mandate all hospital pharmacies to be on that platform. We will, and the community pharmacies as well, and we will give them accreditation. But
and so far, what has been their response to being on the platform?
There's no problem. They are happy. Providers are happy. In fact, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service was telling me that this is very innovative and it's going to decongest the facilities. And he even told me that they piloted it previously, but it has never been implemented. So now that we are going into full force, the system is very happy.
Final issue, then we can wrap up on some few questions that I have on my own. This friend of mine is asking, how does the scheme ensure quality healthcare delivery? Okay, so again, we have the honest truth is that the responsibility is with HEFRA and Ghana Health Service. But again, we are collaborating with them. You see, because we believe that, obviously, like what is in the UK, CQC or something, we should strengthen those institutions in such case that Ghanaians will have quality care. You see, we should strengthen that. I believe that that's an area that we have to obviously strengthen. And it should be through the Ghana Health Service, or maybe HEFRA can take on that responsibility to do it, because they do the accreditation of the facilities and even do benchmarking in such a way that depending on your performance, these are the incentives that you can do. So
yes,
personally, I mean, and then following the news, especially in the UK, you get to appreciate the attachment people have with the NHS.
Yes, yes.
What is the plan? Say, for example, the next 5-10 years to come, we'll grow our scheme to that level.
Great.
Where it becomes the mainstay, even for the economy.
Great. So some of these things, some of these reforms that I'm proposing is what will get us there. You see, at the end of the day, if, for example, you decap and you are getting the money, when taxes are performing, then it means you are sure that you get the money.
Sure.
And the money will not go through the consolidated account and all those bureaucratic processes, okay? To the extent that, you see, what we now have to do is that we obviously have to do continuous evaluation of it. And that is exactly what I've been doing. So, in fact, I have what we call, since I came in, we've brought in a risk manager to be looking at the stresses in such a way that we do not collapse the scheme. So we've been looking at the stresses. But for the scheme to be sustainable, okay, it's not only financial. And I'm going to explain something to you.
Right.
See, over our 20-year history, we have been focusing on curative.
Now I want to go preventive.
Now we want to go preventive. We early detect the diseases. And this will reduce our cost burden drastically. In fact, now our cost drivers are hypertension, diabetes. This is why we have introduced what we call the annual health check, giving every Ghanaian the opportunity to go to the hospital facility of their choice once a month on their birth month, so that they are able to do those basic checks. And bear in mind, now we've introduced the telehealth, so they can also do it virtually.
Of course.
So everything is coming together, and I believe that this is the time that we need the support of all Ghanaians to make sure that the NHIS is actually the NHIS.
In fact, Doctor, the voluntary medical checkup is very important. And I'm wondering if there is a dedicated education to drive this home. Because a lot of people shy away from it. A lot of people are walking around not even knowing their health status. Something happens and then they are shocked as to the level of decay that they find themselves
in.
in.
I was referring to your Kaba. was a friend too. Kaba died of just simple heart attack. That's not the case.
Right.
You see, so if he had benefited from these health checks and all those things, that might not have happened. May his soul rest in peace. All that I'm saying is that, you see, it's very important. Bear in mind, we are financier. And for us to be leading this, it means that we are committed to the system. So the agencies responsible for this. So the Ghana Health Service Health Promotion Unit, for example, is responsible for the education of what? Well-being and health, like physical activities. They should up their game to the level to people. Healthy diet, family health unit. You see, so those are the things that we need collaboration in such a way that this will bring more awareness to. But now the financier is actually saying that, no, don't worry. Let's encourage people to do, because we believe that when we do this, it will reduce our cost burden. So we will continue to drive it and make sure that we obviously bring all stakeholders on board. And
it also ensure a healthy society where people understand whatever is going on in their body, and then they can take the preventive measures to ensure that. Are there other things that the scheme is doing as we move into the years ahead?
Well, so now I must say that, like I said, now we've added the 4 top mental health diseases on. We are doing the annual health check. We are doing the e-pharmacy. We are doing the e-health, which is the telehealth. And I believe that all this, coupled with the system strengthening, will put the scheme in the right footing. And I want all Ghanaians to support us. I believe that this is the time that we need the support of all Ghanaians. One, let's depoliticize the scheme. It's a professional organization. When you come out, you can do your politics, but when you are in, I've told my staff, they know I don't do politics there.
Right.
But when I come out, obviously, I belong to a political party, so I must be supporting my political party to win. So I do my politics outside their organization. So that is it. And I must thank all my staff. I'm being honest with you. You see, the strength of an organization depends on how well the staff are treated, how safe they are, and all those things. And those are the measures that we are putting in place for them. And they know. I can tell you the joy in the NHIS is really over. It's amazing, I'm being honest. And you can just get feedback from them. Yeah.
As we look into our camera, final words before we go.
Well, I want to assure Ghanaians that, yes, they should support us in delivering for them. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Dacosta Aboagye is the Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Scheme. And the news this afternoon is that beginning December 1, there's free treatment for kidney patients. And that is starting on December 1. And they said that they have the finances, they've done the work, they've done the studies, everything points to the system sustaining itself to deliver the public good. We'll be right back to wrap up here on The Pulse.